Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of One Mic where I watch shit so you don't have to. And today I'm here to talk about season 1, episode 2 of the new HBO series Mare of Easttown, starring Kate Winslet. This new episode is titled Fathers, which I'm gonna try to keep this one spoiler free, so I'm not gonna talk about the title just yet. The title kind of comes to light as the episode progresses, but I kind of want to use this video as a means of letting you know whether or not I think you should watch this show. I'm still in a place where I don't know if I want to cover it week to week, not because I don't think it's good or that I don't think it's worth covering, but it's one of those things where I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't know if people are gonna want to watch these videos enough to warrant me recording every week for this. And then I also am still kind of in a place where I don't really know if this show is gonna give me anything that convinces me that it's necessary. And what I mean by that is, if you watch the video for the first episode, I'm kind of in this place where, like, HBO's pumping out kind of the same show over and over and over. You get Big Little Lies, Sharp Objects, The Undoing. Like, most of the time they star Nicole Kidman. Like, it's just a thing where it's like they put out these shows where you got these communities of women, and something happens and you have to see how this community responds to it. The difference between this show and those, though, and this is just a noted difference, not necessarily me saying that I feel like this is a justifiable reason for having this show, but the bigger difference here is that a lot of these the other shows feel a lot more grandiose. Like they're bigger productions. They feel like they're in big cities. Everyone's dressed up fancy. It feels like it feels like a whole lot of white privilege that is coming under fire for whatever thing that these people did that is the premise behind the show. And this show, conversely, is a lot smaller, a lot more grounded. This thing feels like it takes place in a phone booth. I mean, like, everyone knows everybody, and that, I think, is why this show might be considered different. That's not enough for me, but the way this community, the fact that they all know each other so intimately, I think is gonna play a big part in how the mysteries that take place in this show end up getting resolved. I'm not clear on all of these connections just yet, nor am I meant to be, and I am intrigued by them. I am curious to see how much of the past is going to come to light. But again, that's kind of a trend with these shows. It's like, you talking about the white privilege, right? You got a Big Little Lies is the best example. You got all these entitled rich white women, and something goes down. I'm gonna try not to spoil Big Little Lies either, but now they have to deal with not just how they're gonna handle this situation, but the fact that their privilege is now under fire, because now they're looking like, okay, these people might be criminals, or they might be associated with criminals. How do we treat these people? How do we're taking their shit away because they're rich? Like who knows, right? And I like the fact that this show is a lot more grounded, and we get to see these people. Like, these people interact with each other all the time. Like, it's like give you an example. There's a moment in this episode where three different characters enter a gas station and have some sort of interaction with the gas station attendant, who they also all know. And it was just interesting to me that these people just came in like one back to back to back. I'm looking at it like, man, this town is small. Like, you can't go anywhere without running to somebody that, not only somebody you know, but somebody you probably got a problem with. So that I like that aspect of it. And I also like the fact that, I know you guys have probably seen me complain about this a lot on other videos. If you're somebody who watches these videos routinely, you know that I don't like having my hand held and being treated like a stupid viewer. This show does not do that at all. Like, this show makes you work. Like, I take that back. It doesn't make you work, but it makes you make sure that you're paying attention. You can't just be looking at your phone, because a lot of the questions that you should be asking, you won't be asking if you're not paying close enough attention. This show's not telling you this is what's happening with this person. It's making you kind of like read between the lines here. Just like the fact that I said that the town is small. They don't go, hey, the town is small. Like, you just have situations where a character will say something to another one, or they'll come across each other in multiple places, and you just realize, like, this, not only is this town small in probably like just the size of it, but it's probably small in just how much you have that you can keep close to the chest. It seems like everybody knows everybody's business. So I like that aspect of it. And I like the fact that they don't hold your hand. This show makes you work. And give you an example of how it makes you work. There's, I'm not gonna say how it makes you work, but like how you can't just sit back and have the show speak to you. You have to do a little reading. And what I mean by that is, give an example. Kate Winslet's character she has a daughter who lives with her and a grandson. They don't, and again, they don't tell you these things. You just got to pick up on it throughout the course of conversation. So initially, I didn't even know that the grandson was a grandson. Kate Winslet ain't that old to me to be looking at her as a grandma. So like, I looked at that like this kid could potentially be her own kid. But I see like, okay, it's her grandson. Okay, this woman who lives in the house with her, who looks to be about 16-ish, is her daughter. I assumed, as most people would, that the grandkid was the son of the daughter. No, that is not the case. So I find that out through other means. We also find out that the daughter is, well, I don't know what her sexuality is, but she is not just straight. She's some other form of sexuality, whether that be, I don't know if she's a lesbian, I don't know if she's bisexual, I don't know, but she could be any number of things. But we learned that she is not only with men. I'll put it that way. And so now I'm left to wonder, okay, if the daughter's not the grandson's, parent, where are the parents? And like throughout the course of, I think the first episode, you kind of come to the realization that Kate Winslet had a son, and we don't know it. Well, I don't know if he's dead. I don't know if he's alive. I just know he ain't around no more. And that the son is the father of the grandson that lives with her. And then so then again, I'm asking, okay, so where's the mother then? How come the show's not telling me about the mother? And then the mother gets introduced in this second episode. So now I know that. Then I also find out what happened to the son. And now I can kind of piece together like some of the other issues that I have with Kate Winslet's character, not with Kate Winslet's acting herself, but with her character, Mare. Like Mare's an asshole. Like that's all it is. Like she's not cool. Like she treats people like shit. But like, as I learn more about her backstory and about what happened with her son and her son's, well, I don't know if this was his wife, his girlfriend, I don't know the relationship, but the mother of the grandson. As I learn about these things, it helps me understand a little bit more why Mare is an asshole. She's still an asshole, and there's no call for it, but it helps me understand a little bit more. So that's the kind of treatment that this show gets you, as opposed to like, when I complained about that in WandaVision, I think it was episode 5 or 6 or something like that, where they Wanda experiences something and then Agatha comes and explains like, so what just happened is like, okay, you treat me like I'm real stupid. But this show is actually like, I'm forming these questions on my own. Like, oh, okay, so if that's the daughter, but that's not her kid, then where's the father of the kid? And okay, so the father was her son. Where's those are the things that the show is making you ask without telling you that that's a question you should be asking. It's just letting these people's lives play out and you assess and ask these questions yourself. And I dig that. One thing I don't like, and this is another thing that this will be solved, I will say, but right now I don't like it. I don't like whatever is happening with Guy Pearce's character. His name's Richard Ryan or Ryan Richard. It's tough when the people got two first names. But I don't know why he's there. He's appeared in both episodes briefly. He is showing some sort of romantic interest in Mare, but I don't know his purpose in the show yet, and I need to know his purpose in the show because now everything else is becoming a lot more compelling. You have a lot of, at this point, bodies are piling up and shit. Like you have stuff to worry about. So I don't know if I care about Guy Pearce's character at all right now. I don't. But I care from a place of like, what he's here for a reason, right? So what is it? Let's get to it, because right now I'm kind of like, now I'm entering episode 3 and I don't know why Guy Pearce's character is here just yet, and it needs to be something a little bit more significant than just like a potential love interest for Mare. So another thing I want to talk about here is oh no, I said I wasn't going to spoil, so I'm not going to talk about that. There's another thing that they're doing which again, this is allowing me to read into things, right? Mare's going around town and asking about the the death of the character who died at the end of episode 1. And I'm watching it from an eye of how are these people responding to these questions? And I'm making mental notes, right? There was a priest who gave a sermon where he talked about it a little bit. I made note of his reaction when Mare talked to him. Actually, no, Mare didn't talk to him. He went in the back and talked to a second priest. I made note of that conversation and how he replied to it. She goes to ask her ex-husband about it. I made note of his response. She goes to ask the baby father of the girl who's murdered. And again, very subtle. If you're not paying attention, you're going to miss this. One, dude's lying the whole time. Like, from things that we know for a fact, from that we have seen, we know he's lying. Mare doesn't know that. But again, okay, surface level, I know he's lying. But his phone rings multiple times during this, we won't call it an interrogation, but a conversation. And when he picks it up, I notice how shaky his hands were. So like those sorts of things, like that's the kind of stuff that I like to see out of a show where they treat you like you got some intelligence. Like I'm meant to look at that like, okay, I know he's lying, and now I see his hand shaking. Like this is, you know, okay, again, this could just be a nervous teenager. That's fine. But it could also be a sign of someone who's really trying to hide some shit that's really like a lot more that's hidden from us as the viewer that we don't know yet. So I dig the idea of I'm just meant to catch these things. And if you don't catch these things, you're not going to derive the correct amount of enjoyment that I think that the showrunners want you to have. So I appreciate that. You know, treat me like somebody who's been around the block a couple of times, and I can rock with your show. So right now, I'm kind of in a place of I'm definitely going to continue watching the show. The ending of the episode was really intriguing. I had to go and watch the preview for next week because HBO Max doesn't play it. Like if you're watching something on HBO, it just plays it afterwards. But HBO Max doesn't do that. You have to go click on the episode itself, and then it has an extra section. So you have to seek out the next week preview. And I did. Just I don't know why, I just did. I haven't done that in quite some time, but I did. And the preview confirmed for me something that I observed that was not overtly stated. Like it was like, and that to me is rewarding because that lets me know I'm looking for the right things, and it lets me play detective a little bit, and that's fun. So like, you know, I made a lot of observation this episode. Like, okay, like give you an example, the shaking hand, you know, that's not the thing that I'm talking about. But let's say, for instance, let's use that as an example. I'm noting like, oh man, he's got that shaking hand, man. He's a little bit more nervous than he probably should be. And then maybe I watch the preview and I see, you know, something that tells me why his hand was shaking, you know, something like that. That's what I saw when I watched the preview for episode 3. I saw something that confirmed a suspicion that I had. And my suspicion was based on nothing other than reading what was on the screen. It wasn't even based on any kind of like direct dialogue or direct action. It was based on reading body language, tone, that kind of stuff, you know, reading between the lines. And then the preview lets me know, yep, you were right to suspect something here. So I like that aspect of the show. So I'm going to continue to watch it. I don't know if I'm going to continue to cover it on this channel. Right now, it is a good time because I don't have anything else that I'm covering week to week at the moment. But The Handmaid's Tale starts on Wednesday. Invincible wraps up on Friday, so that could be, you know, maybe a trade-off. I keep doing this since I'm wrapping up Invincible, and I can add on Handmaid's Tale in place of Snowfall. So all in all, I think at this point, when it comes to recommending the show, I would say it's probably for people who have my level of appreciation for what HBO does, and also who are willing to put in a little work, you know, look a little bit deeper, because this is not a surface level show. You watch it surface level, you're gonna be bored as shit. Watch it with an analytical eye. Why are these people behaving this way? Why are they acting out toward one another? How do they know each other? What are they dealing with? What does that mean? Those sorts of things. Ask those questions, and you'll derive a lot more enjoyment from this show, which I did in this second episode. I really liked the second episode, so I can see this being one that does end up being worth the squeeze. But as far as covering it week to week, I don't know that just yet. And then if you're someone who you're obviously not scared of the work you're going to have to put in to derive enjoyment from the show. You're patient. You're willing to wait a little bit for the payoff. You don't need to have balls to the wall action from from episode one, scene one. It's not that kind of show. It moves at a very deliberate pace. I'm not going to call it a slow pace. There's a difference. It moves at a very deliberate pace, but it's something that if you're into that kind of like high-end prestige drama kind of stuff that might not necessarily be really rapid pace, but something that gives you a whole lot of good character moments. If you're into that kind of stuff, you're probably going to want to check this show out. You're probably going to enjoy it. So not for everyone, but if you're somebody who's watching stuff like the stuff I mentioned, like Big Little Lies and stuff like that, if you're watching those kind of shows and digging them, you'll probably dig this. But again, even this is not quite as fast paced as Big Little Lies. Like, this is, again, very subdued, very like I said, it's like everybody here lives in a phone booth. Like, it's a very small and community focused kind of show. Community focused makes it sound positive. These people got problems, so it's not that good. But yeah, so I think it's worth watching if you're somebody who is into the kind of like really high-end, high-level kind of stuff, or if you're in the mood to just sit back and just chill and watch something that doesn't really have to engage you and just kind of like presents to you, this is not going to be your show. But if you're willing to sit down and be like, okay, I'm ready to really like dig in and look into this and learn about these characters and try to figure out who they are and why they're doing what they're doing. And then again, you still got a murder mystery. You got a couple, actually. So you still got a couple murders to solve, and you learn about these people along the way. These people are starting to become a little bit interesting, but again, it's a lot like Big Little Lies. It's like if Big Little Lies was in a small town, because Big Little Lies was that like in Malibu or something like that, like real fancy high-end place in California, and this is in like a small like a neighborhood, maybe like in Philly or something like that. So but other than that, it's very similar to Big Little Lies, but it is doing some stuff a little bit better. Like I said, I like the fact that it's challenging me. That's fun. So yeah, I'd say it's worth checking out. So I'm going to stop rambling. I'll wrap this one up, and then going forward, I don't know if I'm going to cover this every week. I'll see what happens. Depends on how I feel about episode 3. I'll be starting Handmaid's Tale on Wednesday. Falcon and Winter Soldier is wrapped up, but I have the Invincible finale on Friday. That will be a week-to-week coverage, and then week-to-week coverage will happen for Handmaid's Tale, and then I'll be doing again the same thing I do with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'll be doing with Loki, which starts on June 11th, and that'll be an initial reaction on Fridays, and then a deep dive on Tuesdays with me, Axel, and Delvin Cox. So that's the plan for week-to-week coverage as of right now. And then there's still, all kinds of stuff coming out over the course of the week. Multiple things. We got the deep dive coming for the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale, and a couple other things I'm working on. I'll keep them close to the chest for now. But until then, I'll see you guys. Peace.